Hello everyone. Hello out there in YouTube land. Say hi. Hello. Callie, what's your favorite fantasy book? Malazan Book of the Fallen. Wow, that's very good. What series do you want to read this year? I'm rereading Malazan Book of the Fallen. Wow, good. Such a good cat. Alright, hello everybody. It is another year. We're all another year wiser, another year well read, and now I'm looking ahead on 2022. Now I know I'm like a month late on all the year-end / year beginning videos, but I love watching them, so I think you guys will like to watch them. This is my video on series that I want to read and finish in this year, 2022. So this is an ambitious list, but hopefully not too ambitious. I've only picked, I think, 11 series, maybe 12. We'll have to see. But first up, one of my big things that I want to do is finish The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. This series has gotten, I can't say getting better, I guess, because Live Ship Traders, which is the second trilogy, is like one of my favorites of all time. But it's been a delight to read every step of the way, and I have no doubt that the rest of the series is going to be as enjoyable as the others have been. So I have two more series in that sort of larger world to read. That is the Rainwild Chronicles and the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. So these two, 7 books between them I've got to read this year, and I'm really excited. In fact, this one, if you saw on my February TBR, I'm going to be reading this month in February, so I'm getting right on that immediately. But I have all these books, so it's really just a matter of reading them. Next up, last year I did the hashtag Scala along with Chris over at Chris Bookish Cauldron, where we read most of, we sort of tapered off at the end of the year, read most of Lynn Llewellyn's Scala universe, but when we when we trailed off at the end of the year, we missed what I was perhaps most excited about, and that is the Tamir Triad. The Tamir Triad. There we go. The Tamir Triad, which the Bone Dolls Twin is the first one. It's actually, the story of this book is what attracted me most to the series as a whole when Chris talked about it. And even though I love the Alec and Sergil books, which are the other ones that I actually have read, I was most excited for this. So I'm definitely going to pick this up this year. And I still think Lynn Llewellyn is severely under talked about in the booktube fantasy community, even amongst like this is a much smaller segment, like the like gay booktube community. Like there's not enough love for Lynn Llewellyn. Anyway, I'm gonna read the back of this because it's a complicated story that I don't want to butcher, but here we go. For 3 centuries, a divine prophecy and a line of warrior queens protected Scala, but the people grew complacent, and Arius, a usurper king, claimed his young half-sister's throne. Now plague and drought stalk the land. War with Scala's ancient rival Plenimar drains the country's lifeblood, and to be born female into the royal line has become a death sentence as the king fights to ensure the succession of his only heir, a son. For King Arius, the greatest threat comes from his own line, and from Ilyr's faithful, who spread the oracle's words to a doubting populace. As noblewoman young and old perish mysteriously, the king's nephew, his sister's only child, grows towards manhood. But unbeknownst to the king or the boy, strange haunted Tobin is the princess's daughter, given male form by a dark magic to protect her until she can claim her rightful destiny. Only Tobin's noble father, 2 wizards of Ilyr, and an outlawed forest witch knows the truth. Only they can protect young Tobin from a king's wrath, a mother's madness, and the terrifying rage of her brother's demon spirit, determined to avenge his brutal murder. So there's a lot there that sounds awesome. Next up is something that I have been hearing a lot of, and it has made me want to pick it up, and that is Dan Simmons' Hyperion. There's kind of like a hyperissance happening on BookTube right now. I think probably, well, for me, it was Books with Brittany, Brittany at Books with Brittany that started me wanting to read this book. She loved it so much and talked so highly of it. That on top of the fact that it was kind of Dune's year in 2021, and I love Dune, and this sort of is in the same vein of classic sci-fi, but I haven't read it yet, so very excited to get going on this series sometime this year. I think this will be later in the year because I have so many other commitments for a while, but I definitely want to get to it this year. I also don't know, it depends how I feel about this book, if I'm going to go on with the rest of the series, or I know, like Dune, you can just read this as a standalone. So if you have thoughts on that, let me know in the comments below. In the same vein, I've heard from many people that I need to read Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. I have them all, and I just need to get to them. Even though this is a short-ish series, so this is the first 2 books in one, and it's only like 400 pages. It is very small print, though. I've heard this is very dense and takes a lot of sort of focus to read it and to really get into it. So I'm thinking this is a good summer book because that's when I tend to actually like really zone in on hard reads. And so yeah, we'll see. I've heard good things about this, but I don't know anything about it. I'm sort of purposely doing that, so I'm not even going to read the back. Next up is a book series that I've been wanting to read for a long time, but I've also been intimidated by. That is N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth Trilogy. I've been intimidated by it because of the second-person perspective, which I know a lot of people have talked about being very difficult. And I have, like, no, like, qualms about it going into it. I've just been very nervous that it's not going to land with me when I want it to land, so badly. And I have never read N.K. Jemisin, so I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to be left out of the party. I don't know why. I'm sure it's going to be great. Angela, especially at Literature Science Alliance, has constantly talked to me about needing to read N.K. Jemisin. So I need to do it. I trust her. So going to get into this. I think I'm going to just start at the 5th season because it's the N.K. Jemisin I want to read the most. Also a train that I'm getting on very last minute, so to speak. Actually, this already started. One of the series, I don't have it on this list, that I have started is the Greenbone Saga, Jade City, Jade War, and Jade Legacy, which is fantastic. I don't know why I waited so long to get in on it, but I did. But I love it. Something else that I waited a long time to get on is the Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. I've heard a lot of good things about this, how it's wacky, how it's weird, and unique, and I'm excited to get going, especially because it's got a lot of, I think, like classical references and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm again one of the last ones to jump on this, but I'm excited to do it. Now this is at the other end of this. Oh well, actually, I guess while I'm talking about last person in the world to jump on something, another series that I want to pick up is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. And I do want to do this earlier in the year because I have hopes of getting an arc for Babel, which is her new series start that is coming out. So I will be picking up The Poppy War. I have all those books on ebook already, so it should be pretty easy to finish out, but wanted to mention that as well. On the other end of the spectrum of series that I want to read and finish this year, this is a classic series that I haven't heard anyone talk about in a long time, but admission, I've never read a Forgotten Realms book at all. And so I feel like to have a well-rounded fantasy knowledge, I need to at least read some series, or at least one, in the Forgotten Realms saga. And I want to read a classic, especially Salvatore, because he's really big, Ari Salvatore. So the one I selected after looking at a bunch of stuff is the Dark Elf Trilogy, which follows Drizzt. It is a classic for a reason, I'm assuming, and even if I've heard a lot of people say it doesn't really hold up, which may very well be true, but even if it doesn't hold up, I want to see sort of those classical references and the world of Forgotten Realms that I haven't experienced before. And the whole trilogy is in this nice single bound up, which I'm pretty excited about. It's not too long. The end of the third book happens at page 800. So definitely something I could do and could be maybe more a fun summer read, I think. This is a hefty collector's edition, though, so I'm excited about it. And finally, I left this for last so I would just leave you guys hanging. My Malazan fans have probably been wondering why there's been a lack of Malazan, and it's simply because I haven't read other stuff, but I'm ready to get back into the world this year, and I want to finish off all the available books that I can. Except for Carcanus. I've said before I'm going to wait till that third book is like ready to come so I can just go through Carcanus quickly. Or not quickly, but like, one after the other, sequentially, I should say. Because from what I hear, it's a very thoughtful book, and I think thoughtful books are best read as sort of a large single work. But all that said is I need to finish my Elsamont books, which means I need to get back on the novels of the Malazan Empire. Stonewielder is up next, and then Orb, Scepter, Throne, Blood and Bone, Assail. I got to read through all of these, and I'm excited to give it a try. And then I also need to read through The Path to Ascendancy, which a lot of people have told me, including Philip Chase, is their favorite as far as like a whole series that's not the main series. Like it's just a great story from beginning to end. So I'm excited to get going on those. And that is my 12. I think it's 12. I think that's the 12 series that I want to start and finish in 2022. Let me know what you think of these if you've read them, and also let me know what priority you want me to have on these. 5th season now. Another way, by the way, you can get me to read these books faster is if you are on my Patreon. I put polls up there all the time to direct my reading, and if you are a Patreon at any level, you'll get access to that and can vote on those, and maybe I'll read your favorite faster than that. Right now it's a pretty small community, so one vote is pretty heavy. You can check that out in the link below. As always, first in, last out.